Welcome to Texas Nation. I'm your host, Grant Levinson, and we are back with your weekly sports talk and recap. This week, college and professional basketball will be our marquee points. But first, let me touch on what happened this last week in sports. The big news this past week was Tiger Woods' press statement. Last Friday morning at the PGA headquarters at TPC Sawgrass, we all saw Tiger stand before a small audience full of family, friends, and minimal press. He read a statement that lasted approximately 13 minutes, then hugged his mom, thanked a few other friends in the front row, and then exited stage left. To the most of the people I've talked to, that was enough. That was even enough for me. But there's definitely a large handful of people who want more, and they want answers. Well, they need to get one thing through their head. You're not going to get those answers. Tiger has said multiple times that what goes on between him and Elin are going to stay between him and Elin. I don't feel bad for the guy because he messed up. He slept with countless women while he was married, and now he has to deal with the consequences of his actions. And being a professional athlete, the publicity comes with the territory, especially when you're a figure like Tiger, being known as the best in your sport. I do feel for his family, though. It's unfair for them to be put under this kind of scrutiny because they didn't bring this on themselves. Tiger failed to mention when he'd be back, yet just another question without an answer. But for golf's sake, let's just hope it's soon. Moving on to the Olympics, as predicted, Shaun White took the gold medal in the men's halfpipe. He killed the competition with a 45.8 score on his first run. He didn't even have to whip out his double McTwist 1260, which he did on his second run just for fun. Like I said last week, everyone else is fighting for the silver. And speaking of silver, Bodie Miller has finally completed his collection of medals, adding a gold to his silver and bronze. He won the men's super combine this year, and it was his performance in the slalom that locked it up for him. With his carefree attitude and dislike for hype, he sure did bring in a lot of press. He actually has the possibility of winning 4 medals in this year's Olympics. Lindsey Vonn did get her gold in the ladies downhill competition, shin injury and all, which just shows how big of a competitor she is. USA leads all countries with a total medal count of 32, 8 being gold, 12 silver, and 12 bronze. They'll be looking to add another, seeing how well the hockey team is playing right now. In a game where the Americans were a huge underdog, they were able to not only beat the Canadians on their home ice, but they made it look relatively easy. The U.S. hockey team now gets a bye week while Canada is forced to go through teams like Russia and take the hard road. I find it ironic that the U.S. team is doing so well right now, seeing how this is the 30th year anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. That's right, it was just 30 years ago that Mike Eruzione, Jimmy Craig, and the rest of the Herb Brooks coach team pulled off the biggest upset in sports history. That game was more than just a bunch of kids beating the best hockey team in the world. That was a game where every American wore their emotions on their sleeves, including play-by-play announcer Al Michaels. The Sports Illustrated issue that came out just 3 days after the event is the only SI cover to this day that has no words. No words were necessary. Everyone already knew what happened. We may not be in the middle of a verbal war right now, but this victory over the Canadians this past week was a huge win for American sport history. Touching quickly on the NBA, all good things must come to an end. Kevin Durant, who's the hottest player in the game right now, saw his streak of 25 or more points end at 29 games this Wednesday as Manu Ginobili and the Spurs held Durant to just 21 points. After winning their last 9 games, the Thunder are now on a 2-game skid, but look for them to bounce back with easy games against Minnesota and Toronto next up on their schedule. Kobe Bryant showed once again that this is still his league when he dropped 32 points on the Memphis Grizzlies, including his game-winning three-pointer with 4.3 seconds left after missing 18 straight days of action with a leg injury. He wasn't able to do that against the Mavericks as Dallas beat the Lakers 101-96 this past Wednesday. With that win, the Mavs now have won 5 straight games, and Dirk Nowitzki is averaging 27 points in those games. The Mavs continue to lengthen their lead on the rest in the Southwest. College basketball is now getting closer and closer to the big dance in March, and with just a few weeks left, many teams are looking to lock up their tournament spot. The Longhorns have picked it back up, winning 3 of their last 4, and it looks like it's going to be the Longhorns, Texas A&M, Baylor, and UTEP. They all seem to have their eyes set on the tournament as they appear to be dancing at Lucas Oil Stadium come mid-March. The Miners are still on a tear, winning their last 4 games, moving their conference record to 12-1. They have just 2 games left, one of which is an all-but-for-sure win against Rice, and then a tough home game against UAB. Look for the Miners to finish with their best record in school history. But for now, more on college basketball, and let's send it over to Aaron Wolf and Nathan Castro.